What's up guys, how are you doing today? Welcome back to this YouTube channel. It's your guy Igor here, coming up at you live with another video. You asked me a question in comments below. That's why I'm saying thank you for commenting. How to convert your visitor's visa to work permit, working visa, tourist visa to working visa. How you can stay in Canada, coming here on a tourist visa. Someone asked me in the comments below saying, Igor, I want to buy a ticket, come to Canada and stay. Can I do that? So I'm going to tell you guys how you can do that, how it works in this video to answer these most valuable questions that might save you a lot of money. So stay tuned and watch till the end. In the end, make sure you comment. That's how this video is created. Thank you for asking me this question, guys. So let's get started. Visitor's visa in Canada, tourist visa, is basically when you come here as a tourist, right? To see what's going on. You're not allowed to work on that. You're not allowed, and usually they give you for what, 6 months. There is a super visa if you have relatives here, but that's for parents and grandparents for the children who are in Canada, so that's a different story. But visitors visa, it's like 6 months, but you are not allowed to work. But no one is saying that you're not allowed to search. You are allowed to search for work, okay? So there are several ways how you could get immigration done. The most simple one, I'll start with the best one, and the simple one is to fall in love and get married and get your spouse, be it husband or wife, to sponsor you. This way, right away, you're allowed to stay permanently. You don't have to spend any money, and you can stay in Canada right after you do your immigration as a spousal sponsorship program, but guys, but that's a 1 out of a million chance to find your soul in 6 months, and there is still a chance, guys. But we'll talk a little bit about more about the work, guys. This is what you're more concerned about, right? Making money and getting an employer. Now you come to Canada, where do you search for jobs? Most of the jobs are done through search online. It's a good thing that you are going to be in Canada because you can actually go for interviews. Now the difficulty is, and the reality is, that 90% of employers do not want to go through immigration process, all right? So your chances of getting a work permit, if it is not easy to find a job, now it's 90% more difficult for you guys, because what happens is, for you to get your working visa, an employer has to do an LME, a labor market impact assessment. Basically what it is they're saying that employer has to try and hire someone out of here, out of Canada. So employer has to start searching for a person who is going to do your job in Canada for same kind of money. Then they have to keep on searching for like what, 3 months or something, and then they have to say, well, there is no one in Canada like you, as good as you, who's going to do this kind of job. So now the employer is forced to get someone outside of Canada. So basically the rule is this: Canadians first. Canadians first. Jobs are first for Canadians, then it's for everyone else. So if you're not yet a Canadian and you're planning actually to become Canadian, that's more difficult than once you're here. So the good thing about it, guys, you're going to be able to get interviews. How many of you have applied for jobs that I told you to, for Indeed, LinkedIn? People are emailing me saying, oh guys, no one is returning back to me. Well, it's because they see your address. It's because they see you're out of Canada and they don't want that headache. That's lots and lots of work. There is 1 out of a million chance that you're going to get selected and they are going to sponsor you out to wherever you are in the world. But it's way better if you're here, if you put your Canadian address where you're staying, if you are here going for interviews. But again, guys, the chances are very less. It's a high risk, okay? If I'm saying, guys, you come here on a student visa, there is almost a guarantee that you are going to get your immigration done and a job here because you already have a work permit, guys. If you're coming here without a work permit, it's very difficult. Even the job search, the offices here for immigrants that are helping immigrants to get their jobs, they want to see your permanent residence card. If you don't have a permanent residence card and you're on a student visa, or for example working visa, or for example visitor's visa, they're not going to help you because you have to be an immigrant for them to help you. And that was my challenge when I was on student visa. They said, I came there, they said, are you a permanent resident? I said no. They said, well, sorry, you have to show us your permanent residence card, then you'll be entitled for that help. And I was like, well, okay guys, it doesn't make sense, but thank you so much for your help. Yeah, very helpful. So guys, what are your options here on a tourist visa? Well, number 1, you can start searching for a job, going for interviews. And number 2, you can convert your visitor's visa into a study permit. You can get yourself enrolled into a college. Being in Canada helps you to realize a lot of things. if you want to stay in this country, how the situation is here, get to know the places. So I encourage you to visit Canada before you decide to immigrate, because you don't want to be disappointed with failed dreams of Canada. Of course, if you're subscribed to this channel, it means you know a little bit more about Canada than anyone else who is not living here, guys, because I share everything with you the way it is, guys. So make sure you subscribe to this channel. Yeah, just visit here, come see the place, go for interviews, then you can decide what you can do. Number one, you can convert it into your study permit. You can get yourself enrolled into postgraduate college or something that is going to get you, once you graduate, guys, you're going to get an open work permit, which will allow you to work. For example, if you study for 1 year, as I always say, with 1 year. If you study for 2 years, you get a 3-year open work permit, meaning you're allowed to work for any employer. Unfortunately, on visitor's visa, you're not allowed to work in Canada. Now, what you might start thinking of doing, and I seriously discourage that, doing anything for cash. If you're really planning to build your good relationship with Canada, good reputation here, I seriously discourage anyone coming here on a visitor's visa and start working for cash, because if you get busted, guys, all your immigration dreams, they might just disappear, because you might get kicked out of the country, not being able to enter for next 5 years, depending on the severity of the case and everything. So I discourage doing that for sure. For some of you guys, it might be you might not have enough money for studying in Canada. It would be a good idea to start saving up, but if you cannot, well, this is the challenge here, guys. Coming here on a visitor's visa can be a total waste of your money. That's kind of, I'm sorry for being kind of so negative, guys, but it's the reality. It's like a lottery ticket. You can win it, but you can lose it. Slightly better if you're an entrepreneurial person, if you're willing to put in enough effort to start searching. You come to Canada, start searching for employers, talking to people, hustling day and night. You have only 6 months for that, guys. You have to find someone who's going to start the process of labor market impact assessment and getting your work permit done. The thing is, once you have a LMIA, labor market impact assessment, you're just one step away from finishing your immigration. Seriously, as soon as you get a LMIA, you should have enough points to do your immigration, guys. So that's the ultimate goal, right? You don't want to come to Canada just for a few years to work to save up a little bit money, unless you of course do want to do that. Some countries like UK, Australia, those developed countries, they have agreements with Canada, work and study. So if you're under like 30 years old, they give you an open work permit just applying from those countries. Then you can just come here and start working with that like work, whatever it's called, work in summer, whatever it's called in Canada. So you can just come with that one and start doing your work. But if you're not one of those countries, if you're not from UK or Australia, if you're not one of those rich developed countries that has international agreements with Canada, then you have no choice. You have to either get the employer sponsor you, and it's easier to get it from Canada. But there is also a chance, as I say, guys, it's really risky. Now, if you have enough money to come here for education, that's the best thing you can do. There are also different programs that I'm going to show you in next videos how you can get done. But what I'm trying to say, guys, and I don't want to be discouraging here, there's lots of YouTubers, there's lots of people who stayed here coming on visitor's visa. Lots of them. But I'm being realistic and knowing a little bit of legislation, because I had to go through immigration myself, not talking to people. There is very high chance of risking. So what I suggest, guys, of course, if you can afford, for sure visit Canada, and there is a chance of you staying here. The options are, as I said, employer, education, guys. Take 2 versus the previous one. Alright, guys, so if you got a tourist visa, what you should be doing right away, as soon as you're here, you have to hustle every single day, apply for jobs, talk to people, network, and start searching for someone who is going to sponsor you. Now, the chances of getting sponsored are usually construction industries, though different kind of places, unless you're of course very qualified professional from your home country. The second option is, if you're from one of those developed countries like UK, Australia, they have the summer or something visa, working holiday visa, something like that, working holiday I believe it's called. So there is an agreement between those countries, and you can go to Australia from Canada. Australians can come to Canada for 2 years open work permit. So you can come here and start working, get your experience and start doing immigration, get an employer to sponsor you. But if you are from one of those countries where I come from, for example, that is not very, like Ukraine is pretty developed, but not as developed as UK or Australia, not a big Western country, right? So if you're from one of those poor countries like I come from, guys, you probably might not have that agreement, so you would have to get an employer to sponsor you, right? So we have to do it the hard way. It's more hard for us, guys, but this determination is this thing that keeps us going. I know lots of YouTubers who actually did stay in Canada from their visitor's visa. They found an employer, they got converted. So there are rumors, lots of rumors that people did it this way, and there are lots of successful stories. But from my analytical mindset, and I know the legislation a little bit, and there is a chance that you might not get it, and there's a bigger chance that you might not get it than you would get it. So I want to tell you guys, it's a huge risk, and it's only up to you to decide if you want to do that. Personally, I would say it might be a waste of money. Save a little bit more, spend that money for education. Less risk is better in this case, unless of course you're very desperate and you just want to get out the hell out of your country. If your country is one of those places that is horrible to live, get a tourist visa, come here and start searching for jobs. If your country is one of those dangerous countries where it's, there's, I don't know, there's something going on, war zone or something, then once you're on a tourist visa here, the other option you can do is ask for refugee status or asylum. Just ask those people to ask for a refuge in Canada, and they are not going to send you back. In case they decide to, they will give you a working visa eventually, and you can start immigration from there, guys. So there are plenty of options. Once you're here, there's many doors open up for you. You can ask for refugee status, you can apply for jobs and get someone to sponsor you. You can go on a student visa, become a student on a study permit, stay here longer, so you can even work part-time while you're studying. Then when you graduate from 1 year, as I said, 1 year work permit, 2 years, 3 years open work permit, you can get experience and get your immigration done, okay? You can fall in love with someone and get married in Canada. I got married in Canada, but my wife was not born in Canada, so we had to do the immigration, guys. But it's an awesome land of opportunities, and I think the easiest and best place to do immigration in the world right now. I think it's out of all the countries in the world, I think Canada is so far the best because of the immigration system and the level of life. For example, I was looking at immigration systems in European countries. For example, some countries I wouldn't want to do an immigration in Europe, but yet it's even more difficult to get than it's here, and the salaries and the level of life is less than here. So I chose Canada, and I made the right choice, guys. I hope this video was helpful. I hope this video is going to provide you enough information, guys. Make sure you comment and ask me questions. As I said, guys, you are the ones who asked me these questions. This is how the video was created for you guys. And also, if you want to see more videos, because I have a lot of them, and there's more and more coming up, 5 videos a week right now, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and we will see you in next video. Share this video with your friends who are thinking of immigrating to Canada. Share this post with them so they have the information as you do. And if you are coming to Canada, some people don't tell it to anyone. I told every single person, guys, and that's how I got so determined to come here and succeed, and it actually worked. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We will see you in next video. Have a good one.